Story time about how I had a baby with my baby daddy's brother. I'm gonna give y'all a little backstory and then we're gonna get right into the story. So boom, me and my baby daddy met whenever we was in high school. We went to high school together, and at some point we ended up talking, and then I stopped talking to him. A little while after that, like a few months later, maybe like 6 months later, he ended up trying to talk to me again, and then, that's how, we ended up, like, things transpired from there. So after high school, me and him ended up moving in together. I got pregnant. We ended up breaking up a little while after, and after that, he went to prison 4 days after my daughter was born. So while he was in prison, I already knew his brother and everything was cool. Me and his brother was always cool, like a sister-in-law, brother-in-law relationship. So everything was all cool, and then, he went to prison. My baby daddy went to prison, and, we would, speak. Me and the brother would speak about, my baby daddy being in prison, when he's coming home and things like that. Like, when my baby daddy would call me, he would ask me, to do a three-way so he could talk to his brother and everything like that. And, that's just that. So, after a while, me and my baby daddy just, was not even on that no more. And the brother started to look good to me. I'm like, okay. So, the brother actually came on to me, and I was like, all right, cool. Okay, cool. So we started talking. My baby daddy did not know at the time. He's still in prison at this time. So after that, me and my brother-in-law, supposedly, we're starting to take things to the next level. We was, seeing each other every day. We was talking every day. At this point, we was in a relationship. So, one day, my baby daddy had called me, and he, I low-key forgot y'all was brothers. So, my baby daddy called me, and I'm in the car with his brother. So, he's like, hey, what up, or whatever, they start talking, and then my baby dad was like, what you doing, what y'all got going on? And he's like, oh, no, I'm chilling with my girl. And he's like, my girl, bitch, is you cool? And he's like, oh, shit. We look at each other like, bitch, what the fuck? So, after that, he knew, and, he texted me a big old paragraph, and he, fucked up with me. He gonna come home and do this and do that and do that. And, well, there's nothing I could do about it now. So, we kind of just, after that, we kind of just agreed, we don't even need to be doing this. That's fucked up, So, after that, 2-3 weeks later, y'all, I found out I was pregnant. So, obviously, it's by the brother. So, now I got 2 brothers, both my baby daddies. So, what the fuck? So, after that, yeah, we know how that goes. So, that's how my baby daddy found out that I was messing with his brother, but he did not know yet about how I was pregnant by his brother. So after that, his brother, we at this point, I told his brother, yeah, I'm having a baby, we pregnant, whatever. What we gonna do? So he's like, this just what we gotta do, and I'm like, okay, cool. So, me and my second baby daddy at this point, ain't even the brother. This is my second baby daddy at this point. So, I'm like, me and my baby daddy, my second baby daddy, we cool. All right, we talking about we can't do this relationship no more. Yes, we can. We having a baby at this point. We ain't, shit, what we gonna do? So, I'm, low-key fucked up, damn, bitch, the brothers. So, I'm I just gotta tell my first baby daddy. So, one day, my baby dad had called me, and I'm like, look, he, trying to, hey, how you doing? What's my daughter doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, I just got to let you know right now, I'm having a baby. And he's like, oh, yeah? And I'm like, yeah. And at this time, we weren't together, so he really wasn't fucked up with me. But he's like, damn, he's like, that's crazy. Do you know what it is yet? And I'm like, yes, a boy. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, that's good. He's like, I'm happy for you, whatever. He's like, I didn't think you would have a baby on me or whatever. And I'm like, I didn't have a baby on you. We're not together. And he's like, yeah, you're right. But, still. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, well, I got something else to tell you. He's like, oh, shit, what is it? And I'm like, his name is the dad. He's like, what? And I'm like, your brother is the dad. Like, and I low-key, bitch, I was shaking. I was scared. So he's like, bitch, what the fuck you mean? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like going off and cussing me out. And he's like, well, since he the dad, bitch, I know he around somewhere. And I'm like, well, he finna pull up. He went to the store real quick to go get me something to eat. And he was like, oh, so y'all living together, y'all playing house now. And I'm like, no, not technically, but like technically. And he was like, bitch, y'all all the way through, bitch, y'all played out this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, I'm like, I'm sorry, like, that was never supposed to happen, you know, after you, like, found out me and him was fucking with each other. Like, we actually was like, we finna not fuck with each other no more. And then things just kind of transpired. And he was going to fuck off, y'all. So he only had like a month or two left until he was supposed to get out of prison, right? I think it was like a month and a half. So, boom, he ended up getting out, y'all. Why did he beat his brother the fuck up? Like, bloody nose. Like, he sent his brother to the hospital, y'all. He didn't do nothing to me. He don't put his hands on bitches, but he sent his brother to the hospital, y'all. So now me and my my first baby daddy are back together, and everything's cool, you know. Like, I think he kind of fucked up, and I did have the baby, so I got 2 kids now. And, I mean, that's his uncle daddy now. Story time about how my baby daddy's mom found out that I had a baby by both of her sons, which means the brothers. So, in the last story time, I told y'all about how when my baby dad called and he told me that he wanted to, talk to his daughter, see how his daughter was and everything. I just pretty much told him, like, look, I need to tell you something. Hold on, my mama dogs is tripping. So after I told him, like, you know, I'm pregnant by your brother and we're having a boy, he pretty much started spazzing on me, you know, cussing me out, telling me he gonna do this, that, and third whenever he get home. And I told him I don't want no smoke, like, none at all. So after that, I guess he ended up calling his mama. And he told her what was going on. He's like, you know, tell me why Naya's pregnant by my brother and they're having a little boy. And she's like speechless, like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, she thought he was joking at first. And he's like, no, like, I'm dead serious. Like, call her and ask her. So this lady ended up hanging up the phone with him. She called me and she's like, tell me why Blase just called me and said that you having a baby with Blase. She's like, is this true? And I'm like, yes, ma'am. And she's like, and how far along are you? And I'm like, I tell her, and she's like, and you didn't think to tell nobody? And I'm like, I mean, this is not really nobody's business but ours. So, you know, I told who needed to know. And so she's like, well, he got a sister for you. So, I mean, that's, whenever you drop this baby, that's that. And so I'm like, bitch, I got plenty of sisters. What up? The fuck? So she's like, okay, well, let me call his sister, and if that's what you want to do, we can do. I said, I don't want to do nothing. First of all, I'm pregnant. But if that's what y'all want to do, we can do that. So, anyway, I ended up calling my sister up, and I'm like, hey, so-and-so, mom, trying to get his sister to fight me because, you know, the situation. So, she's like, oh, okay, we'll say no more. She's like, let me get ready, whatever, and she's like, and then I'll, you know, pull up. So, I'm like, all right, cool. So, anyway, the mom ended up texting me. She said, meet us at Bones Hook. And I'm like, all right, cool. You ain't got to say no motherfucking more, bitch. I'm on the way. So I pull up to my sister. I go get 2 of my sisters, actually. Only one was supposed to come, but I go get 2 of my sisters. And we pull up over there. And then the mama there, the sister there. That's it. And it's me and my 2 sisters. So they end up fighting. I ain't gonna hold you. My sister got her ass whooped the first round. Like, I'm talking about beat the fuck up. I'm like, oh, brother. So, mind y'all, they fighting because I got pregnant by both the brothers. So, I'm just like, my sister finna whoop my ass after this. So, anyway, yeah, so they fought that one time. And then my sister was like, hold on, I need some motherfucking water. So, my sister went to the car, got some water or whatever. And my sister-in-law is calling out my other sister, like, what up? My other sister, she's not a fighter, okay? She's like, I'm not fighting y'all. Like, I'm just here to watch. I'm here for emotional support. So they was like, yeah, y'all ain't like that for real, blah, blah. And I'm like, we is not. We are not, boo. Like, we is not like that. So anyway, my sister come back from the car. And Little did I know, my sister had her hands wrapped. And I did not know what she had going on. So I'm looking at her like, what the fuck? So after that, come to find out, okay, so my sister gets to whooping this hoe. Like, I'm talking about, sorry, I didn't mean to call her a hoe. Like, we cool now. But she gets to whooping this hoe. Like, I'm talking about whooping the fuck out of her. Like, worse than she did her type shit. So we get back in the car. I'm like, what the fuck you had in your hands? Like, brass knuckles? Like, is you cool? And she's like, no. She's like, I spray mace on this cloth. And she's like, I ripped this hoe up and I put it on my hands. She's like, I wasn't finna go out like that. I said, yup, as you should. Ain't no rules applied and clock it. So anyway, so they both got their round. After that, you know, sister left a little bloody. My sister left a little bloody. And that's just that on that, right? So after that, you know, I didn't speak to the family after that. Like, for a little bit. So the mama ended up reaching back out to me and she's like, when are you supposed to have this baby? And I tell her whatever. And she's like, okay, well, what do you need for this baby? So I tell her like the few things that I had left that I had to get the baby or whatever. And so she's like, okay, I'll get it for you, whatever. She ended up getting it and everything. I ended up having my son. And everything was all fine and dandy. Everything was cool. So after that, I ended up having my son, like I said. Everything was cool. And then the sister hit my phone. She's like, oh, bitch, you thought you was cool after that? She's like my mama said, when you drop that baby, it's up. And I'm like, I don't want no smoke, girl. I don't want no motherfucking smoke. Y'all, this girl must have pulled up to my motherfucking house. And so I'm low-key scared to come outside. I'm like, fuck, you know what Mo3 says? She's scared to come? Yeah, I'm scared to come outside. So I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to call people, nobody answering. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I'm going to just have to come out here and take this ass whooping for fucking both her brothers. Like, bitch, that's me, not you. What the fuck? Why are you mad? So anyway, I'm like, well, I come outside. I'm like, well, your niece and your nephew out there, like, what we going to do? And she's like, girl, they be all right. Why you get this ass whooping? I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So I come outside. You know, I come outside with no shoes on. Bro, when I tell you I got to whooping this hoe, I was lost. Like, bitch, when did you learn to fight? What the fuck? I'm whooping this hoe, whooping this hoe, whooping this hoe, boom. She started whooping on me. I'm like, oh, okay. See, this is why getting your head all big, girl. You got to chill out. So, boom, she whooped my ass. Like, I whooped her ass for a cool minute. This hoe whooped my ass up and down the motherfucking street. I said, oh, my God, this is why you don't fuck brothers. So, yeah, after that, mind y'all, the dad is not really around. Like, not really. He's not around. So, like, the dad is out of the picture. It's just the two sisters and the two brothers. I mean, the mom and the sister and then the two brothers. So, yeah, that was really it. And then she said, all right, now we cool. She's like, I whooped your ass and now we cool. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be cool with you after you whoop my ass just because I fucked both your brothers? Like, bitch, what they got to do with you for real? Like, but I was like, you know, whatever, because I don't want my ass whooped again. So, after that, you know, my baby daddy come home, whatever, and he's like, I don't agree with everything that happened. He's like, but we just gonna let all of that go. Let the past be the past. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever floats your boat. So after that, you know, he like tell me, because every time we go to like his family house or whatever, it's always some type of tension. So he tell me, like, I just feel like, you know, you and my family need to sit down and have a conversation, like you, my mom, and my sister. And I'm like, all right, cool. I ain't got no problem with doing it. I know they're not going to come around, but it's all right. So I ended up reaching out to the mom, and I'm like, hey, you know, can you and Kiki, you know, come and have lunch with me? You know, I just want to discuss some things. So she's like, I mean, I really don't want to discuss, but, you know, we can do that. So we ended up going to have lunch. I bring my son, which is the second baby daddy child. I bring him or whatever, they playing with him, they talking to him. This is not the first time they met him, obviously, but yeah, and everything's cool, fine and dandy. Well, I ended up telling him, like, look, like, you know, things happen how they happen, you know, there's nothing I can do to take it back, there's no rewinding, you know, we done all fought around this motherfucker. I done had a baby by both the brothers, like, me and the baby daddy, my first baby daddy got back together, like, what are we gonna do now? Like, you know, we can't just always come around with tension. So the mama, like, the sister was like, nah, that's your fault, like, nobody didn't tell you to go do that, nobody didn't tell you to be fast. And I'm just like, it's not your problem that I'm faster than Mexican music, bitch. Like, that's my problem. But yeah, so she's not like really budging. And the mom's like, look, she tell Kiki, she's like, shut up. So she's like, look, you know, at the end of the day, like you said, things happen how they happen. She said, we will work on our relationship with you. She said, I'm not saying it'll be better within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. She said, but we will work on our relationship with you. So I'm just like, all right, cool. After that, y'all, everything got good, dandy. Now we can go over there. We can all talk and laugh, and everything's fine. And that's
Guys, I experienced one of the scariest nights of my life last night, and I actually wasn't going to speak about it, but I feel like I should because it might just save someone's life. So this pretty much started last night at about 9:30 p.m. when I went to Woolies to do some grocery shopping. And this particular store closes at 10 o'clock, so I only had about half an hour to get in and out. So I made my way in and I started in the fruit and veg section. And as I was picking out some bananas, I looked up and there was a guy there and he was also picking out some veggies. And he looked over at me and he smiled. So then I smiled back because, just to be polite. I went about my business and I continued with my shopping, and then I ended up in the meal prep section. I was looking through meal preps and I was just reading through the ingredients and the calories, and that's when I look up and I notice the guy again. And this time he's giving me a weird look. I thought initially that it may have been a look of recognition. I thought, okay, maybe this guy recognizes me. That's a bit embarrassing. I continued my shopping. I went from aisle to aisle, and then it was about 10:02 and I realized that the store's actually closed, so I need to get out of there. And that's when I made it to the cash register and I was heading out to pay for my stuff when a staff member approached me. I was like, oh, this is literally my worst nightmare because I'm always so paranoid about being accused of theft. So I thought this lady is going to accuse me of stealing something because I was actually in one of the aisles for a bit too long and it may have looked suspicious. So she's like, excuse me, come over here, please. So I was like, oh my God, how embarrassing. She's going to ask to search me, or she's going to say that like you're stealing. So she's whispering at me and she's like, excuse me, sister, please come here, please. So I was like, is everything okay? She's like, I need to talk to you. So she pulls me over to the side and she's like, sister, do you know that man in the grey hoodie? And I look up, I was like, what man? And she's like, that man over there. And this guy, like, it was the guy that smiled at me when I had first entered the store. And I was like, no, I don't know who that is. Why are you asking? And she's like, because me and one of my co-workers have noticed that this guy has been stalking you for the past 30 minutes. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, he's been following you very suspiciously from aisle to aisle for the past 30 minutes. He's been lurking from a distance and we noticed him and we feel extremely uncomfortable for you. I was like, what the hell? I noticed him and I thought he was a bit creepy, but I just thought maybe he recognized me and or maybe he was interested or something like that, because he kept smiling at me and he kept making eye contact and kept giving me these weird looks. But I didn't know the guy. I've never seen him in my life. And she's like, yeah, he's been stalking you. I was like, shit, that's creepy. She's like, all right, what you're going to do is pay for your stuff and don't leave. Stay in the store. She's like, I'll organize for one of the male staff members to walk you out to your car. I was like, okay, thanks, sister. So I paid for my stuff and I waited around while they organized someone to walk me out. Now, as I'm waiting for them to get a staff member to walk me out, that guy, he's now exiting the store. And what I notice is so weird, like borderline sinister, but the guy's already purchased his stuff. So he's paid for his stuff, I don't know however long ago, but he paid for his stuff and he left the stuff outside. So the stuff were outside, they weren't even in the store. And then he went back in to continue stalking me. So while he was stalking me, he wasn't shopping. He'd already purchased his stuff maybe an hour before or like half an hour before or however long he was in there. He'd already purchased the stuff. He'd left them outside and then he came back into the store to continue to follow me from aisle to aisle. And had this woman and her male co-worker not noticed that he was following me, I would have been none the wiser. So anyways, he exits the store, he picks up his stuff and he starts running. He literally just disappears. He starts running and he disappears. And I think it's because all of the staff members at this point had gathered around the store, one because it was closing, but because they were discussing the man that was stalking me, because they had all become aware of him, and I think they let each other know through like a PDT or something. So he grabs his stuff and he hightails it out of there, and I'm waiting for them to organise for a male to take me out to my car. So then they get a male co-worker and he's like, I'm going to walk you out to your car. He walks me out to my car. And I get to my car, he's like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, thank you so much. So I hop into my car, lock my doors, and I start my car. And at that point, I look over and I see the guy that was stalking me. He's in a ute. It could have been like a Hilux or a Triton with one of like those stainless canopies on the back, the work canopies on the tray. And he puts on his spotlights to try and blind me. I was like, what the hell? That's that guy. Oh my God, he's there. And then he literally just speeds out of the complex. He just speeds off and he drives away. So I was like, oh, alhamdulillah, he's gone. But little do I know, he wasn't actually gone. Now, when you exit the complex, there's a roundabout on the road right outside this shopping centre. Okay, it's like a marketplace. There's a Woolies, there's an Aldi, there's a Coles, there's a bunch of stores. And then when you exit, there's a roundabout. And if you turn right, it takes you onto the highway. And if you turn left, it takes you like into suburbia and shops and like more cafes and stuff. So as I'm exiting, what do I see? I see this guy. He's on the roundabout and he's just going around in circles. He's just doing his rounds. He's waiting for me to exit to figure out which way I'm going. So I was like, shit, like he's there. He's trying to stalk me. He's still following me. So I'm like, all right, I've got to go the opposite direction because I can't take this guy to my house. So I turn right and I head onto the highway. And again, he's on my tail. And like I'm speeding down the highway and he's following me. Not even joking, for 15 minutes he was following me until I got to a police station. So like I took him all the way to a police station, then he disappeared, like he ran away obviously. Reported him. I was like, I'd like to report like a case of stalking, please. This guy literally stalked me throughout the shopping centre and then he followed me down the highway. So anyways, they took his number plate because luckily I got a photo of his number plate and like a description and whatever, and they said that they'll follow up with it. So that's what they did today. Like they got all the CCTV footage from the shopping centre and luckily they took it so seriously. But I just want to say, like, to females when shopping alone, like you need to be hyper vigilant and hyper aware of your surroundings because subhanAllah, had this woman, may Allah reward her, if she had not noticed that this person was stalking me, I would literally have just been none the wiser and I would have just left and gotten in my car and driven home and this guy would have known my address and who knows what sick intentions he had. Allahu Alam what his intentions were for me, but I strongly believe that this person had intended to follow me home and probably do something. Maybe break into my house later or just know where I live because he had sick intentions. So please, girls, like whenever you're shopping alone or like anywhere, wherever you are, even if you're at a cafe late at night or like anywhere, just be hyper vigilant of your surroundings because you really don't know who's lurking and what sick intentions people might have. That was honestly such a terrifying situation to be in. But alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful for the young woman at this particular Woolworths. I'm not going to say which Woolworths it was, but like if you see this, honestly, thank you so much. You may have just saved my life.
Me, second year in high school. Me have waterproof. Me not know how to plug in. So me accidentally rip off top of leaving hole where charger go in hole. Me second year of high school. Me mom scared that me puff puff. Me puff puff with friends. Me own puff puff. But puff puff very, very hidden. Me mom very, very, very religious. Me mom tell me, you ever you go hell. Instant hell. No recovery. Me not care. Me just like One morning, me wake up and me open dresser. Me notice gone. Me look everywhere. Me gonna be late for school. Me freak out. Me go, what if mom took me? Uh-oh. Me go downstairs. Me mom working. Me mom's desk was right there. Me come through that door. And me ask mom right there, did you take something from me dresser? Me mom go, yes. Me lose it. Me say, this personal choice. Me mom tell me, it not personal choice. At me, her daughter. So she get to tell me what to do with her body. Me mad. Me horny teenager. Me lose it. Me argue for 20 minutes. She tell me what I say don't make sense. Me tell her what she say don't no make sense. She tell me hurting my body. Then me mom go, I'm not just going to allow you to vape. Me go, huh? Oh, she took pod. She no take voo. Me mom keep yell, very loud yell. Mom tell me she took vape from nightstand. Then it And me had the hole in the top of the She think it puff puff. Me go, Mom, was vape purple? Mom say yes. Me no words. Start walking out sliding glass door to bus. Me mom go, where do you think you're going? Me reopen the sliding glass door. And me Mom, that's not a that's a fucking vibrator. And slam the door and start walking and turn around and come back, open the door and go, and you better put it back where you found it.
Am I in the wrong for telling my wife to marry her expletive therapist because I'm expletive done? After our oldest son was born, my wife decided not to return from maternity leave and be a stay-at-home mom. 6 months later, we started noticing missed milestones and other concerns. We expressed our concerns to his pediatrician, who said the milestones were just guidelines and not to worry. Around this time, my wife started to get anxious and frustrated more and more. She said something was wrong with our son and we needed to help him. We went to a second pediatrician, who gave us take-home evaluations to do. They stressed out my wife, who said that she couldn't fill them out because she was afraid of accidentally answering wrong. I did my best to fill them out, but since she was a stay-at-home parent, I needed her help on certain parts, because some questions were phrased, how many times per day XYZ, and I needed information from her to answer that. She got very frustrated during this process and said I wasn't supporting her. The pediatrician diagnosed our son as autistic when he was almost 2. My wife was upset by this, and the pediatrician recommended that she see a therapist, as parents of autistic children sometimes struggle, especially the parent who spends the most time with the child. In some ways, that's the last time I ever saw my wife. Her frustration and anxiety only got worse. She's a completely different person now. She only communicates in therapy speak, and she acts like her therapist is God and that she is her prophet. Here is an example of some of the insane things her therapist has apparently told her over the years. Our son is emotionally abusive. He was 3 when she said this, because he intentionally withholds affection. I'm emotionally abusive because I canceled a date with her after she called me a loser and I didn't want to spend the evening with her. I'm sexually abusive because I told her that I didn't want to have sex with her after an argument to punish her. Fights don't turn me on, but that's my fault, I guess. I'm financially abusive because I told her that I didn't think that we could afford another baby, that we ended up having anyway because she wore me down. I'm physically abusive because I put my arm out to stop her from walking into the kitchen when I was sweeping glass off the floor. Our son is physically abusive because he accidentally kicked her while throwing a tantrum. He was 5. Those are just a few examples. As I mentioned, she wanted to have another baby. I thought it was a bad idea. I have actually been trying to convince her to go back to work so that we can afford specialized care for our son. But even bringing up the idea is, you guessed it, abusive. Our second son turns a year-old soon, and for the past year, my wife has acted like our older son and I are enemy forces against her and our younger son. She no longer is providing our older son with any care. I had to scale back at work so I could drop him off and pick him up from school, but that wasn't sustainable. We were bleeding money. I finally found an after-school program for him, which is expensive, but it allowed me to work the hours I need to. I told my wife that it's not fair for our older son to be ignored and treat him like he isn't around. Obviously, the baby needs more attention, but it's wrong to not give our older child any. It also isn't fair to me, because I hardly ever get to interact with our younger child since I have to do all the care for our older child, and she always has the younger. She said that the therapist told her that in a way, our older son actually killed her first baby because he's the disease that replaced him. I said I don't care about her therapist. This is about our family, and she's neglecting us. She said her therapist said neglect was a weaponized term. I told her to marry her effing therapist because I'm effing done. I told her that I'm filing for divorce. She lost it when I said that. She said I can't talk about her therapist like that. I'm trying to alienate her from her support person, and that's abuse. I talked to my friend who's a lawyer to get a recommendation for a divorce lawyer, and he told me it's an a-hole thing to do to insult her therapist, because therapy is important and it's not the therapist who told her to neglect our kid. But if my own friend disagrees, I guess I might need a reality check. Am I in the wrong?